How's it going, card fighters? Vanguard Badlands back at it again with another deck profile. This time we got Murakumo. Now, I'm pretty sure y'all want some advice or a little something to get you started on how to build the deck. And I'm pretty sure what you should run, what you shouldn't run. But again, this is my personal preference. This is how I want to run the deck. And this build's been working for me quite a bit. I've seen other people build different decks of this. The only deck I've seen someone make different than mine with a lot of changes is one of my friends. He runs things a lot different than mine. And I wouldn't say it's bad. It's just I would say it's not consistent. Let's say that. Just not something I would run myself. But then again, this build could probably be something you wouldn't run for yourself. But again, so-called personal preference. How you want to run the deck might work for you. Others might, say, what? That's how you run it? Okay, whatever. It's cool. It's cool. But enough blabbering about. Let's get into the deck profile. All right. Now, I'm pretty sure you all want to see this. We got 4 Zanbakus. We run 4 of them. And if you don't know what he already does, his skill is act once per turn. Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1. Search your deck for up to 1 card with a rester in its card name. Call it to rear. Shuffle your deck. And if this unit gets +5 until the end of turn, if right or left and left, not or, but and left are on the rear guard, your opponent can't ride to a grade 3 or greater from a grade 3 on his or her right face. So yeah, this card's gonna be good when the new Bermuda stuff comes out, because I've seen some of their skills and they only have 1 skill, and their skills are pretty weird. Like, they say if you have search your cards for different names and call them out and other stuff. I don't know if you had to have all the cards with different names. I'm not quite sure how that's going to work. But I think you just call up to all the cards that have different names. Not all cards that have different names. But we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, I think this deck is still going to be good against Bermudas, because they need consistently ride to get their skills off. So I'm not too worried about Bermudas or anything, really. So I just have this to deal with it. On that, I'm not going to be switching decks unless they do cause a problem. On that, sticking with this Murakumo, because finally they got their cards that make them more viable. Not saying they weren't, but just makes them more powerful. Alright, and we run 1 grade 3 Zangeki. I did run 2, and I constantly get them into my hand, but I feel like running only 1 just because my lineup is so tight. But if you don't know what he does, his skill is continuous. He has 2 continuous effect, and his skill is if left is in your front row, this unit gets +5. And if right is in your front row, right arresters is in your front row, this unit gets another critical, which is pretty good. But his second skill is what makes him more powerful, I would say, against protects or any deck, really. If your soul has a dueling dragon in its card name, oh wow, you don't even need Zanbaku. You just need a dueling dragon, and his name is Dueling Dragon. That's awesome. All right. In its card name, your opponent can only call grade 0s from hand to guard. So when he attacks, your opponent can only use grade 0s throughout that whole battle phase. Not just his, just every rear guard that attacks your opponent's Vanguard. So if you're going up against another Murakumo clan, they can't call Shirayuki from hand to the guard circle, because you can only call grade 0s. which is amazing because they have, depends how many Shirayukis they have in hand. They're pretty much dead in their hand. Unless they want it PG'd away. But however they want to guard this attack, it's up to them. But yeah, we run one of him. One is fine. I don't really need it to get them off. Zanbaku already does the trick in my other grade 3, which is, I'm pretty sure you want to know what it is. And it is 4 Shirayukis. We got the OR, almost got a delete rare from one of my friends, but he's going to trade it for a complete deck, which I wouldn't blame him. 1 card for a complete deck, that's pretty a good deal. But let's read her effect. If she's placed on Vanguard, Rearguard, or Guard, when placed, Soul Blast 2. Choose 3 units in your opponent's front row and they get -5 until the end of turn. If this unit is placed on Vanguard or Guardian Circle, they get -10 instead of 5, which is amazing for defensive turn. So this is not just an ordinary dead card in your hand, dead grade 3 in your hand. This is pretty much a 10k shield, but it minuses your opponent, so that's amazing, really. And her other skill is, when this unit attack does not hit, return a Fantasy Petal Storm Shirayuki from your drop zone to hand. So, say you rode this for first turn, and then you rode this, and you Soul Blast your Shirayuki. You can use her when she attacks. If your opponent does not let her hit, get that card that you just Soul Blasted out into your hand. Usually, I like to keep these in my hand or save it for a ride phase, depending on what the matchup calls, or call it to rear. Again, depends how the match is going. If I need to shorten their attack power for my cards to hit more, or if I have a Zanbaku on the field. On my Vanguard, use her skill, make them use a bunch of cards in their hand to guard all the attacks that are coming through. Alright, now for the grade 2 lineup. We run 4 right arresters, and his skill is auto when placed. If your Vanguard is Dueling Dragon Zanbaku, if you have another rearguard with an arrestor in its card name, doesn't have to be the left one, just has to be another one. So if you have him on your rearguard and you call this, you can use his skill. His skill is Counterblast 2, put a card from your hand into your soul, choose one of your opponent's Vanguards, and that unit cannot stand on your opponent's next standby phase. So this is pretty good if you had this, if this is your only arrestor and you have one in hand and you have Zanbaku on your Vanguard circle. You can call this out, use the skill Counterblast 2, put this into the soul, not let it stand, and then you can use Zanbaku's turn to Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1, and then call the right one to prevent him from running grade 3. So that's another good trick if you didn't get the left one onto the field first. But yeah, that's another way to lock your opponent. And next is the other grade 2, the left arrestor. And his skill is, when it attacks a Vanguard, if you have another rearguard with arrestor, again, doesn't have to be the right one, just has to be an arrestor. And its card name, Soul Blast 1, and this unit gets +5. I usually don't use his skill for that Soul Blast because I really hate using the skill. Because your Shirayuki needs the Soul Blast, and your Zanbaku's also. And usually I don't really try to hit for those magical numbers, since Shirayuki already does that for me. To, minus some, all that type of shenanigans. But with your next grade 2, you can use the skill to Soul Blast, but your next grade 2, helps you build that soul, so you can actually use this skill more freely. And for our next grade 2 is 4 Stealth Fiend Jankotsu Girl. It's pretty cool. And her skill is, when an attack does not hit, Look at the top 7 cards from your top of your deck. Reveal up to 2 Shirayuki Storm Fantasy Petal Storm Shirayuki from among them, and put one of them into your hand and put the other one in your drop zone. Shuffle your deck, and if you did not reveal any, soul charge 1. And if you only reveal 1, put that card into your hand. Usually, depending on the situation, if I don't need to add a Shirayuki to my hand, I'd rather have that soul charge just so I can set up my Shirayuki. Say I'm 1 short, I found a Shirayuki in the top 7. Usually, I wouldn't add it, so so I can get the soul charge and have my Shirayuki defend me next turn. So that's what I like to do. And usually, if I face a Force Clan, I call 2 of them out, attack, get those, look at those top 7, try to add 1 into my hand early game. Or if I don't hit, I soul charge, set up Shirayuki for later on, so I can, keep using her to guard, since I'm building up my soul with that grade 2. All right, and for our next one is the grade 1 lineup, and this one is rerun 4 of Stealth Fiend Rainy Madame, and her skill is auto win this when your unit's attack does not hit. Put this unit into your soul and return a Fantasy Petal Storm Shirayuki from your drop zone to your hand. Really good card. Builds up your soul a lot more. And, pretty much if none of your units hit, this girl's going to go live. And usually if I have this on the Excel, attack with her first. And pretty much if they don't hit, put it in the soul. And then, get a Shirayuki into my drop zone to my hand. Pretty good card. How to run 4. And for our next grade 1s is Stealth Beast Million Rat. We got Rat Boy open here. We got 2 congratulations. Still need 2 more. But his skills: act if you do not have another Stealth Beast Million Rat on your rear. Counterblast 1, search your deck for up to 1 Stealth Beast Million Rat. Call it to rear and shuffle your deck, and that unit gets -4. Lately, I've not been using his skill a lot, but in some situations I do if I want to, rush my opponent real fast, even against Murakumo. Because if I go up against a Murakumo deck and, my ride or my hand is real shitty, and I need a distraction for my opponent to attack my rear guards, because usually your opponent is not going to try to attack your Vanguard so you get that 3 counter blast for your Zanbaku turn. So if I have to, I will call Stealth Boy, call another one, and have one of his attacks attack my rear guard, save myself from a damage being dealt to me. Usually they fall for the bait because they're not trying to get you at 3 damage, or they can get locked. But yeah, real good card. Still an amazing card if you're trying to go for an all-out attack your final turn. If you have 4 or 5 Excel circles and multiple attacks coming his way, you can call Rat Boy to the Excel. He's only going to be hitting for 14, even though he's got that -4. But with that Excel circuit, gives him that +10 to make that magical number 14 to hit Excel. To hit Force decks and Excel decks. But other than that, let's get to the other grade 2s. We run 2 Stealth Dragon Amaterasu Snipe, and his skill is continuous. If your rear guard was placed from your deck this turn, this unit gets +5. This card can only hit Excel decks and protects, but it's still an amazing card for +5. And I still run 2 because I don't know what else to run, really. I could run that grade 1 where you look at the top 5 for left for an arrestor. But if you don't hit the arrestor that you're looking for, that's such a waste of a Soul Blast. And yeah, he's an 8K, but his effect only goes off if he's boosting a Vanguard. And if you already have Rat Boy or her or a different grade 1 boosting your Vanguard, you might have to call over it just for that sacrifice, but it's that's what I found out, that it's not really worth it if you don't have him boosting your Vanguard. So that's why I stick with this grade 1. But you can switch up your lineup. Again, you're probably using this as a reference, but this is how I like the lineup for right now. Other than that, I might still test other grade 1s I found in the new set. Other than that, this card is just working fine for me. And for our last grade 1s, we run the new promo, and we run 2 of these so I can consistently get her off. And her skill is, when your opponent's Sentinel is placed on Guardian during the battle that your Vanguard attacked, return a normal unit from your drop zone to your deck. Search your deck for up to 1 card with the same name as your Vanguard. Call it to rear and shuffle your deck. So it's pretty good, you know. Have 1 rear guard attack. If you have to, 2. And then your Vanguard attacks, and if they use a PG, and if you're facing a Protect clan, they'll most likely use their PGs. And you get to, you know, search whatever grade 3 you're on, and then call it to rear for another attack, call it on Excel, and then you have another card to attack with. And they have to make a choice, you know, use PGs on the rear guards early, or they might have to use a PG for this attack when your Vanguard attacks. Alright, now for the grade 1s. Obviously, our only grade 1s, grade 0. And I mean grade 0s. You know, we run the 1 Stealth Beast Cat Devil. Basic card in almost every deck now. And for our trigger lineup, we run 6 crit. I see people running fronts, and I don't like it. I really don't. Just because it doesn't threaten your opponent. Say if you know, your opponent no guards, and they're at 2 damage, and your Vanguard, you know, you double crit them. Damn, you just put them at 5 damage, and you're about to go off next turn, and you're about to rush them. Well, they better, you know, count their chickens, because they're screwed. And I see people run the stand triggers, and it's just not that threatening to me. I'll just be like, yeah, you know, just I'll take the damage. Guard early turn, take the damage, you know, whatever. And that's what my friend did. He runs fronts, and it didn't really scare me when he attacks. Even when he Shirayuki'd, like he rode his Shirayuki. And damn glare. He rode a Shirayuki, Soul Blast 2, and then minus my Vanguard when I was at, you know, grade 2. I was -1. I was like, you don't run crits? That's cool. You don't take all that 3 damage. You can't crit me, so I'll just take the 3 damage, put me up to 4, 5, whatever. You know, wasn't really that threatening. So that's why I run crits, because I beat him almost every match because he didn't run crits. But again, you probably like fronts. For me, it's just not that threatening going against Murakumo with fronts. And for our next trigger lineup, we'd run 6 draws, 4 draw PGs, and then 2 normal PGs. You know, get our right chain right. You know, it's not a right chain deck, but you know, get the proper grade 2 to ride upon that ride arrestor, and you know, get our combo pieces as fast as we can. You know, our grade 1, our grade 2, the left arrestor, grade 3, whatever we need. We want to draw it as fast as possible. In the last grade 0 lineup, we run 4 heals. You know, so we can heal ourselves during the matches. And I run, you know, 5 Excel. I might have to bump this up because you do add a bunch of grade 3s into your hand. Because the max you can do it is 5. But, you know, you're going to be constantly getting your Shirayuki. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to have to add 4 more Excels just in case if that happens. Or more, because, again, you could just keep bouncing your Shirayukis, ride, Soul Blast, ride, Soul Blast, ride, Soul Blast. And that might suck if I'm running out of Excels and my opponent actually lives to tell the tale for that long. Really, after the 4th or 5th Excel, they usually die. If not, I try not to ride. So I don't get DQ'd for not having enough Excel markers when I ride. But other than that, that's the deck profile of my Murakumo. If you liked it, go ahead and comment. Say, wow, that's a pretty good build. If you don't, just say, wow, I can't believe you run that shit. What the fuck? You a noob or something? Again, I want to hear your opinions. What do you think about the deck? What will you change? If you would add another Zanbaku. If I ever did run another Zanbaku, I might have to minus this one. Minus this grade 1, take it out, and add another Zanbaku. But right now, this is working fine. I can always test play that. You know, taking that grade 1 and add another Zanbaku for the consistency of getting into my hand. Other than that, it's working perfectly fine. And if you like the deck profile, just let me know. And if you think this was helpful, go ahead and share it wherever you want to share it with, your friends, groups, or anything like that. And if you think this would help any others having troubles with the build. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. This is Vanguard Badlands. And if you enjoyed it, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, or hit the dislike button. Other than that, this is Vanguard Badlands signing out. Peace.